So introduce yourself, beautiful man.
Oh, introducing myself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Felix. I love you.
I love you. Give me your best story of like where we started. I want to hear. Tell me how we even came to be together and how I ended up doing a blue weekend in Sherbrooke.
Oh my God, that's impressive. I was thinking about that because in on the way here, I could definitely tell I'm somewhere around Atlanta because I recognize the houses, the roads, the forest, the feel of it, but I don't recognize a single thing. I couldn't recall a street. I didn't. It's so. I know it's so far in my mind. It's like it was a million years ago. And what I recall is in the kitchen on Cherokee Street. I was with
Catalano.
Steve Catalano, and I was not finding my place in the chiropractic world. And Wade Port was there. Because Steven said, no, of course not. Of course you're not finding your place. Your place is along that really weird guy named Michael Simeka. He's totally your kind. And then Wade Port said, oh yeah, blue nights, you will be blown. And I guess we came for a blue night. And I recall entering the house, sitting to the right, going on the table, having a blast. And then how the thing developed, I don't really know. I recall that it feels like every Sunday morning we were at the house.
We had brunch.
All the time, huh?
Community brunches, Catalyst Socials.
All the time.
It was amazing.
And so when I bought the tickets to Atlanta 2 months ago, and I'm finishing the house now that my first house. See, I've been selling hundreds of houses.
Right.
Probably close to 1,000 in the last 13 years. And this one's my first house I own. And I was thinking, already we've had friends over. It's been a gathering place because it's my dad's across the street, but we have friends over. The house has a name. It's called Barbara, because of the French singer Barbara that I love, and there's a beautiful story about it. And I was thinking, it would be fun if every Sunday I could have community brunches like we had at Michael's 14 years ago. That was so much love and simplicity. I vaguely recall what we did, who was here.
But you remember how you felt.
Oh my God, I so remember how it felt.
Yeah.
It just felt home.
That's so beautiful.
And then we did the Catalyst class in the evenings with Danielle and Velma and John Trimpey.
Oh, your name is some beautiful souls. It's amazing that we've all moved on.
John. Where is John?
Married with child. He's in Carolinas and
Really?
yeah.
Oh my God. Do you recall the night where I was pulled by the police leaving the office?
I forgot about that, but I remember right now.
Oh my God. So, because in Quebec, police cannot pull you for no reason.
Right.
But here, I learned...
Well, you're not supposed to. They call it probable cause.
They can.
Yeah.
And they did that because we were leaving a commercial strip
after ridiculous hours, because
whatever the
we're
night.
the only ones there in the
Yeah,
ungodly hours.
Very odd hours. So, and that night we had a friend, Don, visiting from California. And how did that happen? We left our cute Honda Element at your place.
I remember that.
And we took Actually, maybe your friend Dawn brought us, and then she went back with the car. That could have been that. So we drive back in John's car. He had a beige Corolla with, support organic farming stickers and peace and love. And of course, he was so high that he said, "Oh, I'd rather not drive. Can you?" Like, sure, I will. And he was barefoot as usual. And we were a few minutes from the house, so we said, well, we'll go meet Dawn, and Olivier's in the baby holder.
And the lights go on.
And we have Velma and John and Caroline in the back with the baby. And the lights go on.
I remember hearing the story the next day.
Oh my God. And then another car, they're surrounding us like we're big, bad, crazy gangsters.
Yeah, like you're really sketchy, right?
I do not have my driver's license.
I remember.
Caroline's looking for it in her purse. He starts yelling, "Don't move! Is there any weapon in your bag?" And I'm like, everybody held the energy so amazingly. Can you imagine
I can imagine
how vibrant all this crazy crew is? Everybody holding it
I love
so
that you're bringing this
perfectly.
up. I really forgot about this story.
And then I did not have my driver's license. John did not have the papers, the license papers of his car. They went crazy because, they told me that I had been in the States for 3 years and I did not have a
Right.
States driver's license. So this whole thing takes, oh my God, the night. It probably took an hour or two because I think maybe you had to drive our car with the baby car seat.
Was it the same day?
Oh, it was the same night because
Okay.
they wouldn't want to leave us. So you hear the context. They after an evening at Catalyst Central, a friend visiting from California had kept. She dropped us, but she had left with her car, and then there's that beautiful gentleman, John Trippy, who says, please drive my car because he was too high. And we have Velma Popham.
He doesn't know her
No.
from California.
Oh my God. Another beautiful, beautiful lady.
Who facilitated in Montreal as well, in
Yeah.
Sherbrooke. She
Oh, yeah.
flew all the way
Yeah,
across
she
country
did.
and north.
And she spent some time in Montreal with us after.
I remember.
Oh. And so we're minutes away from the house. So my baby, who was a year old, was in the baby
Olivier.
holder on her mom.
Oh, Marco.
It was Olivier.
It was Olivia? Okay.
So we figure, there's nobody. We're somewhere between night and early morning. And as we go out of Catalyst Central, police lights go up. And of course, the baby's not in the car seat. Of course, I do not have my driver's license. And of course, John doesn't have the license papers of his car.
Or shoes.
Or shoes. Oh my God. But it was impressive because their level of aggressivity and fear was so intense. I had never seen that because, well, you can relate. In Canada,
Right.
the interactions with the police are very friendly.
Right.
And it was so violent. And they're yelling at us with their torch,
And
hand
you
on the
feel your fear
pistols.
and your energy, you're all high off
And
of blue.
oh my God, we held it very well. Everybody remained calm. They were, yelling and very intimidating, and it never worked. The resonance was way too high, plus being together, plus. So later in the night, if I'm correct, I think you probably drove our car because they wouldn't let us go. That's where I
Oh,
was.
I don't doubt it. I was so blue. I don't remember that.
They wouldn't let us leave
Because you didn't have a license.
without actually.
It's car seat. No, because you didn't have a car seat.
Because we didn't have a car seat.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I had to come with a car seat.
You came with the car seat, and I
remember
knew,
now.
I know my numbers by heart, including my driver's license. So it took them forever, but they were able to validate my driver's license from the number.
You
And
couldn't leave because you didn't have a car
So we split in 2 cars, and there was, I don't know, 20 minutes between the office and the house.
Mm-hmm.
And halfway around on that big boulevard, crazy empty. It's pitch black, but it's at least 2 ways wide. And there's nobody. It's ghost night. And then far in front of us, there's 1 car. There's 1 light. And then out of nothing, a car runs probably 6 kilometers, 60 kilometers, 70 kilometers an hour in the other car. So there's that accident meters away from us. And one of the car goes, makes circles on the roads. The other one goes, hit a tree and catches on fire. You recall that story?
I do remember the story. I wasn't there for that.
So the car catches on fire. So we're like, wow, really, what a night. There was nobody on the streets.
Wow.
So those cars were really aligned. So some of us go toward the gentleman who's in shock and maybe drunk.
Yeah.
And then the girl who was hit, and her car was directed on a tree and caught on fire. So we go to her, and she's there trying to get her CDs out of her car. And we say, you know what? We'll get you new CDs.
Yeah.
Let go. Come with us. She's like, no, my CDs. She's absolutely obsessed with her CDs because she doesn't want her CDs to burn. She's obviously in shock too.
Yeah.
And so we're in the middle of the streets. We call 911. We say there's a car on fire. And it took her, only minutes to get back out of shock. And she starts realizing how silly it is trying to get the CDs out of a burning car.
The awareness is starting to creep back in now.
Yeah, it's kicking in again. And she's obviously very impressed with the energy of the crew that she's with.
I
It's
know,
like,
you're
oh my
sitting
God.
there trying to get her to do catalyst.
What a beautiful set of guardian angels I have there with me. And he say, yeah, the only thing we're so sorry about is we don't have marshmallows, because that's a beautiful fire. And we've been waiting. So the car now is like a huge
Engulfed.
ball of fire. And we've been waiting for the fireman for probably 15 minutes. I don't know, it feels like an hour, but it's probably not so long. And then in that pitch black night, behind the car, a big garage door opens, and the fire station was
Right across the
just behind the burning car. But it took forever for some reason, and they just go whoop. and the I don't know, she put the fire down. My God, what a night!
What
a night! Yeah.
So what do you think of the coffee? I'm so curious, Mr. You're a coffee connoisseur.
I'm amazed. Yes, that coffee 2.0 thing is very much in Montreal. I have fabulous places. So if Angela does Jewel, sorry.
It's okay. She goes by both.
Eventually visits. She must know that the coffee scene is quite strong in Montreal.
All right. I will make sure she knows.
It does qualify in the top coffees. So
That's beautiful.
AeroPress.
Yeah, and AeroPress.
I'll
and
get
H2O. Aces. Oh yeah, they're beautiful. So my favorite Felix story is when we're walking in Sherbrooke, and you're taking me around to all the bakeries, and I'm walking. I'm like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. Now keep going. We walk past one bakery into another bakery, and I said something to you which was so beautiful. I said something, the silly human that I am. He's like, so you don't worry about all of this, the bread and the yeast or the whatever it is, the gluten and stuff like that. You just looked at me as if like you were Buddha, and you said with the same smile you got on right now, and you're like, I find it very hard to believe that something that tastes so good and feels so good to eat could be bad for you. And I remember at that very moment, I just went, oh my God, I'll take 2.
Wow.
I love that
those
story.
croissants.
It's one of my favorite Felix stories, and I've held that ever since. I was like, Mr. Make the Connection, and I had mental override around gluten and muffins, and you just said, I find it hard to believe that something that tastes that good and makes you feel that good can be bad for you.
It does make you feel good. Oh my God, that was impressive. I saw, not far from here, from the cab, I saw a Waffle House, and I recall we had just arrived in Georgia.
No.
And the first restaurant on the way,
No.
I stopped at, there's a restaurant called International House of Pancakes. So I'm like, oh wow, great, I love pancakes.
And this is the international house, so they must have Canadian type, maybe even Canadian syrup.
It's gonna be good. And I even recall the 1.5 liter glass of fluorescent so-called orange juice. And then they run, like, really, I couldn't bathe in that glass of, juice. And then they brought horrible pancakes. And the next day we stopped at a Waffle House, and I was like, wow, there's a thing called Waffle House. And they don't really got the thing.
That is why we did the brunches every Sunday morning. You see, we had those times. We have to really dust that off again, because he's just reminding how we would have these potluck brunches, and everybody would bring their own thing, and we would just come together. We'd call them Catalyst Socials.
Amazing.
It really was amazing. And but the community is, everybody's gone their own way, and it's it's hard to believe that we can actually, and that I'm still here in Marietta after all this time. Still, he's talking about Blue Night and Blue Weekend, and it's like, and there's Semeka still going at it. It's incredible.
Those Blue Nights.
The stories that you and I have in the time that we spent together really are transcendent. I mean, they were on a different plane. I look back on them now. It's hard to believe.
Part of me.
It's hard to believe that we lived it, because it was a different energy that hasn't really been matched. In the community, it's not
been matched.
Yeah,
it's unmatched, but it still lives within me.
Absolutely.
It was such a transformative period of my life. It obviously, like school can be. We had a very, very fun crew.
Absolutely.
I just spent time, a few weekends with Catherine and Geoff.
Oh.
Who now live in Quebec City, in Lac Beauport, together. Geoff and James, the Tickle brothers, come from a very strong chiropractic family.
Background.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful, principled people. All of them. And that's funny, because when I moved to California, they're the first people I met in New College of California, where I had to do like very accelerated prerequisites, because I wanted to start chiropractic along with Caroline, the mother of my boys. And so we were, very enthusiastic, and she was ready, but I had to do, a year and a half of prerequisites and crunch that into a few months. So I had
in Life West too.
I had lessons in I had classes from Arthabasca University, from some online college, and then I had the classes at New College of California, and I met those two really cool hippies, and they had that stinky Volkswagen bus, and they were doing some prerequisites, and they were going to Davenport. So, we had a good time in California, and farewell. So they moved I was staying for Life West, and they were going to Davenport. And a year and a half later, we meet in the registrar's office.
Life.
Here.
In Marietta.
In Marietta. Like, Felix? Caroline? Like, no way. Yeah. So they were part of that beautiful crew.
Oh my God! So many people were so part of it. That community was tremendous.
And after I left, I learned that Geoff and Catherine Stoulard from Quebec were together. And a few years later, I meet Geoff. But he speaks fluent French, and that was so strange, because to me, well, he's always been an English speaker, but he's a brilliant man. Gosh, that guy has a brain on a nuclear reactor, and
so I got to ask you a question.
He speaks fluent French now.
I want to know this, because this new Felix that not only is an amazing broker, but you've been doing this for so many years. Now you're getting recognized and you're getting awards. So
Yeah.
get people like that are going to see this and really want to know how you're doing. Get us caught up with that and give yourself an opportunity to just be recognized by this community who could see how you expanded, Mr. Broker Extraordinaire.
Oh my God! It's when I came back, I was comment on dit plombé, pleaded. J'étais plombé de dette. I was crushing under student loans, and a man who's my second father, Paul, had been with my mom for 7 years while she was sober, and he's very complimentary to my dad. I have this amazing dad, Michel, who gave me, God, he gave me the best a dad can give. He's been always loving and supportive, but he really taught me to be a man. I got from him his incredible work capacity and energy. I got from him an ease for happiness.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, I realize now that happiness can be hard to grasp, and my dad has that so easily. It lives within him. He's
Well, this going with itness, when I met your father and how amazing he went all in with us. And at that point, there weren't that many parents that were doing this kind of work or being in this kind of energy, and he allowed it to affect him.
Open. And he had gone through a period of his life where actually everything was so challenging that he was empty hands able to receive. And God did he receive. It's really been my dad from when I was a kid and my dad today live in universes that do not meet.
Right.
It's crazy.
Were you
impressive.
amazed at how well he just kept up with us and how he gave himself permission to just dive in deeply? I mean, he literally blipped. He literally went all in.
Yeah. My dad from a kid was a 6'4", 235 pounds of man, beer drinking and steak eating and strong forever. And not very delicate at times.
No, but he always had the family values. He held his family
definitely.
at such a level.
My three brothers and I, if there's one thing that we're always at the core of his values, that was us.
Yeah. He really made that a priority, man. Number one.
He is one father extraordinaire.
Regardless of whatever version of him was coming out, didn't matter.
Definitely. And then life threw all the rocks, possible at him, and he had to re-question his old world, and he did that so beautifully. So I now have it all started here. I had always shaken hands with my dad, and now the entire family hugs. My dad's he's a good hugger now. That's impressive. And surprisingly, it was even easier to hug my dad than to hug my mom.
Right.
She found it harder.
Right.
He got good at it.
That's what I meant.
Really
He went
fast.
all in. He went all in.
He dove,
did.
head first.
He did.
And anyway, so there's that gentleman who's been with my mom, who's a very elegant gentleman. He taught me to, tie a tie.
That's it. Tie a tie.
Funny.
Sounds funny.
And
to verb a noun.
he was, more of an intellectual person. He got me more books, and I loved it. And that gentleman had a very successful career in real estate. And since I was a kid, we remained in contact and still are. And he always thought two avenues for me. He said, "You'd be, an excellent diplomat, or a great real estate broker." And now I needed money badly and urgently. And he said, "You do well. I'll hook you up with the finest brokerage firm in the industry," because they were on the board of the Quebec Association together. He said, "This guy is very dynamic. You'll meet him. I'll help you. He'll help you."
He sponsored you, really, is what it was.
He said, "Cut your hair, though."
Oh, you should have seen his hair.
I had long hair.
Like his son does now.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, actually, your hair was even longer than his, but his hair is long.
Yeah. And I'd wear a French braid, most of the time. And, pink, yellow, and pale blue plaided pants and turquoise shirts. Oh my God. It's funny because I'm thinking now my boys are teenagers, and I realize how well I was received by the people around me with my, strange clothing and attitude. And so I got my first shirt, first blazer. I bought $30 black shoes that were so painful to wear.
You had to feel like you were faking it in those early days.
Oh
it
my
had to be
God.
one of the most amazing trips for your head.
Actually, my first shirt I bought it on special at Les Ailes de la Mode, and it was way too big.
Love the sound of that.
So I had to actually pull the sleeve from the inside of my blazer. Otherwise, it was going like over my
Right.
blazer. It was
Right.
really ugly. And then the blazer was from my stepdad. It was just a little short, so I had to do that, and then keep my arm tight so my sleeve doesn't go out, and so my blazer doesn't show too short. And I was driving a Subaru so rotten that whenever it would rain, the carpet had like lots of stuff living in it, so it would stink like hell. So I'd have to keep the windows
Yeah,
open all the
fumigate
time.
yourself.
Oh God, it was horrible. It was so ugly that I would park it always, a block from the house I was visiting. So it happened. I became a broker, did the class, and it was something I was doing for money. I thought I would do that for a year, and and I felt like a fish in water. I loved it, and real estate loved me too.
We'll bring it right back up to today now, because I'm curious about what you just got recognized for. I mean, and I'm so surprised that you came to the States, to Atlanta, and you're a broker in Canada. So help me wrap my mind around why they have an award ceremony here, and that you had to come to receive an award for being an amazing broker like Atlanta. Help me out here.
It's a beautiful. I try not to be so much into brands, as I am not very much into politics or religion. I find patriotism or sports team affection to be a strange feeling. The competitiveness that arises from that, I think, brings out a lot more ugliness in the world than beauty.
Right. Okay.
People fight over sports or politics or
Philosophy, even.
or brands, yeah.
Religion.
And so that's why my first reaction to a brand is to keep it really separate. Though I must admit that this Engel and Volkers thing is quite powerful. They did manage to bring together an impressive crew of brokers, because the real estate world can be somewhat kitsch.
Mm-hmm.
And these people manage to create a brand and attract only brokers who do believe in that concierge level of service. You know, they really care for competence. They're passionate people, and you need to be, because it is demanding.
Extraordinary, right? Being extraordinary. Don't be mediocre.
Yeah, no, there's no
No
room
laying
for
up,
mediocre.
no laying up, no doing average, no catching the low-hanging fruit.
And it's the only company who's been so selective. They pick and choose, and the owners of the brand in Montreal got that at, you know, the next level. They and then hence it's no surprise that 4 years after our opening, we were all surprised, beautifully surprised yesterday evening to learn that our shop is number one shop in sales volume and GCI, gross commission income, in North America. It's very impressive. And I mean, Montreal's not New York, it's not Boston, it's not San Diego, it's not
Atlanta.
It's not Atlanta. It's a small town, and we have a terrific crew, really. And it's a beautiful process to accompany people in their. It's an important stage of life. In buying a house or selling it is a lot more serious of an affair than I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, you know,
Runs
just matching people and
Right.
taking a commission on it.
Yeah, and it's not just emotional. It runs that spiritual, mysterious, non-linear connection that it has to really connect on a level that people can't really even understand. People might say, I want to have this or I want to have that in the house.
And that might not be what they want for real.
But they walk into a house and all of a sudden, this is it. This is my home.
I so recall the first time I was with people who, you know, I had done, it was early in my career, and so we had sat, discussed their needs, and they were looking for a house, etc. You know, it was something like, the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to renovate kitchens and bathrooms. We know it's painful. We're not doing that again. And we want this area, price, number of bedrooms, whatever. So we go, and I don't recall how long later they walk into their home and they say, this is it. It's perfect. The only thing we need to do is renovate the kitchen and bathroom.
And they'll do it themselves. Right.
Oh my God.
Yes.
They found it.
They already had the vision.
Yeah.
Which is better than you renovating it anyway, because they can renovate it the way their vision is anyhow.
Yeah.
If you were to renovate the kitchen, they'd almost be obligated to use it the way you've renovated it, which would actually be a hit to the essence of the home quality of that.
So that's you know, one of many beautiful stories to realize people walk into their home one day and it feels right. It's beautiful, that feeling of seeing people, you know, finding it. Sometimes they discover a new area they didn't know, and accompanying the sellers in the process is beautiful and delicate too, because it's the house where, you know, it's their first house, their second house, but you live in a place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're down here to do.
Right. Absolutely.
Living.
Absolutely. And you take that place in, like epigenetics. I mean, you meditate in that place. You breathe in that place. You sleep in that place. And so that place is really having its way with you during those quiet times.
Definitely. So those, you know, it's the houses where they've had kids, where their kids took their first steps, where their kids entered college, high school. They, you know, it's full of us.
Absolutely.
You know, like I think of the house where we had Blue Nights, and I can be, you know, and I can feel the house right now.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. If the walls could talk, and we're like, you're not hearing them? It's not. If
They-
you could listen,
they do.
If you could hear, because these walls are talking.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
So voila, that's I guess that's how I became a broker and
So what? Tell me about the award you got. I'm curious
Oh.
what you were recognized for. Was it because you were number one in the North America and you
Well,
were part of the team,
us-
or was it something personal that you?
on a personal level, yeah, I am part of that President Circle thing, which is based on transaction numbers and etc. Which is, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to be rewarded on it. It's fun to be rewarded financially too, because it's pretty unique in this industry, how we can do a lot of money, and it's quite surprising at the end to realize that it's also a very expensive industry to be in. So people get attracted to real estate because they smell the easy money.
Right.
They smell the check, and the checks
It doesn't
are
come that easy to them,
important
does it?
numbers, and it doesn't. It doesn't. I feel I should be even much richer, but
But you are richer. You really, really are.
Oh.
Think about the training that you and I have had, and how that prepared you for things that have nothing to do with Catalyst. Though those concepts hold up, and the stuff you carry, and who you are, and the way you present yourself.
and people think doing real estate is about the houses, and
Right.
it's absolutely about the humans in the houses.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Sharing our humanity.
God, because I had my carpenter apprentice cards when I was 16.
Right.
My dad's a contractor, so construction, and houses have been a big part of me growing up. And so people say, "Oh, that must be so helpful in your business." And yeah, a little bit, but not so much actually. It's really the humans
Right.
that we need to handle,
The
that we
connections
need
made.
to hear,
Mm.
and very often hear and not listen, because these things are hard to say, are hard to understand. I mean, we are hard to understand than ourselves. So of course it's not easy to really hear what the others want and need, and I think that is the very rewarding period.
But you get to feel it too. You can, right? You can feel what they want, even if they can't put it into words. Do you think that ever helps you? Do you think you ever find a place and go, I think this might work, and then be surprised that it does?
This summer again, there's a family that was looking for a very specific house, and they loved the house they were in. They just had two minor defects, and talking people with an important budget, but they did love their house. They had made it to their taste and their needs, and it was beautiful, gorgeous, and they lived there so well. I mean, the setup was pretty amazing, but they had an eye open on a maybe better option.
Oh, you mean expanding? You mean emerging, growing?
Yeah, growing. But that place
held them perfect.
it did hold them really well. And one day I meet people with that stunning house, and I'm sure it's for them. So I did call them and said, I got it. I have your house. I found it. It's actually not going to be on the market for a few more months. So
But it's yours.
Be patient.
But it's yours.
And sure enough, it was a gorgeous sunny day. They walked in the house, and I think we were just halfway in the lobby, and I think we all knew that was it. They bought it before we left the house. I called the owners. They were on a cycling trip in France, and I said, Ian, Karen, here's the thing: I'm with those extremely serious people, and they're buying the house. The price is fine. The financing is fine. The dates will be fine. It's it. And
You were the guy that
you
made
can
the
imagine the
connection.
day
You're
at the notary, how they're like,
right.
she, Julie hugged me and said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Felix. And that's
amazing.
beautiful.
So I know we're running out
I
of time.
want more of that.
Yeah. For people who really don't know you and they're seeing the fact that you're looking in this direction, there's actually a gentleman here that you just met, Mark Senecal. And you're looking at him, which is really beautiful. And people are like, why does he keep going over there? And there's this beautiful man sitting on my floor. And you're both from Montreal, both from Canada anyway, and which I absolutely love. I mean, there's some kind of passing of the torch going on here. So with all your experience, with your heart, with your love, and how you ended up here right now, talk about your going with itness. Since you're looking at this man anyway, what could you possibly impart to him in the short time that you have each other? What would you say to him who's going through this process? He's graduating in a week or two. I mean...
And then going to practice. Am I doing catalyst? No, we're not. We're being a catalyst. So yes, in a way, I do know that in some parallel universe, there's me, hands-on with people somewhere.
It's beautiful.
But we do it all the time. My dad being who he is today is because of this. My way of, being successful is, I definitely am hardworking. I definitely am competent. But I genuinely care for people. And Mark, it can be felt in half a second that you care for people a lot. So the name doesn't matter at all. You call it Catalyst Chiropractic.
Absolutely.
Orthopedics if you want.
Absolutely.
You can serve coffee.
People will always remember how you made them feel. Always.
Yeah, and that's what we recall.
Mm-hmm.
Those brunches, those catalyst nights, those blue weekends. There's very little detail that actually remain at the top of my brain, but the feeling is so deep.
It's perfect. It's perfect. But as far as life in general, anything you would want to say? Go forward, young man. Yesterday was, by the way, the day before, March 4th. We had Catalyst Day just 2 days ago. It was March 4th.
March 4th.
I think I interviewed you on March 4th, too, didn't I? I interviewed March.
My God.
March 4th is Catalyst Day.
I did send love a few times on March 4th.
Yes,
indeed.
you did. So what do we say to Mark to wrap this up? Because you got a plane to catch. I got a session to have. So what do you want to say to this beautiful human being? Because I do feel there's a passing of the torch. I actually was so excited that you were coming, and I'm like, Mark, Felix going to be here, You're going to want to be here for this.
That passing the torch idea is a concept that we hear often, and it just remains as precious than ever. That when you light a candle or a torch, even better, light a torch. Forget the candle.
Right.
It doesn't take anything from the other one, but creates more. It's probably the core of Catalyst. It is the expansion of always. I learned to breathe here. You know, like, the level of consciousness that I got out of this relationship is the most precious gift I received, and the this is what gets transmitted actually for real. There's lots of connaissance and intuition to be developed, sure. But the way we've been present and we are present, oh my God, it's the most precious gift. I love you.
I love you.
I love you, Mark.
Say something in French. Go ahead. That's just for him. That, well, we know that couldn't even decipher if I wanted to. Go ahead. I want the world to hear you in your native language because it's beautiful. I mean, you are poetry in action when you speak. So go ahead. Give us the gift.
Je suis tellement content pour toi que tu connaisses cet homme extraordinaire. Pendant, je sais peut-être encore là d'ailleurs, mais je sais que pendant des années, sur mon profil Facebook, il y a cette, on peut mettre une citation dessus nous, et je vais être obligé de le dire en anglais, mais mon point référent, là, ma référence neurologique, ça a toujours été « What would Michael do? » Parce que en partant d'Atlanta, j'ai traversé des moments difficiles, parce que la vie. Et c'est extraordinaire de pouvoir choisir, mais ça marche aussi bien, hein, si ton maître spirituel est Jésus ou Bouddha, ça fonctionne tout aussi bien. Mais mon inspiration était le bel homme que j'ai devant moi. Et ça a été un référent incroyable parce que 1000 fois, dans des situations où on a envie de crier, pleurer, se fâcher, taper des poings, être triste, on se dit non, attends. Comment grandir à partir de ça? Transformer ces événements-là en nourriture. Il y a une histoire où Michael a eu un accident de voiture. Il y a très longtemps. Et juste avant l'impact, tu peux l'imaginer, il a laissé aller, il a tout lâché. Et alors qu'il aurait probablement dû se casser tous les os du corps, il s'est retrouvé en petite boule en dessous du volant et ils l'ont extrait de là. Puis en fait, le policier ou l'ambulancier qui s'occupait de lui était presque fâché parce qu'il était très très bien, tout à fait correct. En fait, l'impact ne l'avait pas affecté. C'est un exemple très très potent de transformer toutes les informations en nourriture. Tu vois, ça aurait pu me venir en anglais tout à l'heure, mais c'est quelque chose dont on a beaucoup parlé et qui a pris une très très grande place dans... En fait, je l'ai intellectualisé d'abord et ensuite intégré plus neurologiquement, mais cette idée-là que tous les impacts de la vie sont une nourriture, en fait, sont de l'information. Et peut-être que tu es très familier avec le concept, mais tu vois, moi, c'est quelque chose dont, évidemment, je discute moins souvent dans le cadre de mon travail, mais c'est de l'information. Alors, l'information, c'est brut. C'est jamais positif ou négatif, que ce soit un impact de balle, d'une roche qui te tombe dessus, ou juste la fatigue, la nourriture. C'est de l'information et notre corps et notre âme gèrent cette information-là du mieux qu'ils peuvent. Et si on n'est pas capable de la gérer sur le moment, elle est entreposée dans notre psyché ou dans notre corps. Et ça fait très longtemps, alors peut-être que je déforme, mais pour moi, les concepts de catalyste, ça a toujours été de relâcher cette information-là quand le corps et l'âme sont prêts à la digérer. Alors, les traumatismes de notre enfance, les coups durs de la vie, les peurs, ça fait partie de nous, ça nous habite, et c'est quelque part entre le corps et l'âme. Il y a des endroits où c'est entreposé, et cette impression-là d'être dénoué, délié, quand on fait le travail, seul ou accompagné avec un facilitateur, ça nous fait grandir, en fait, incroyablement, parce qu'on se libère, on devient plus conscient. Alors, à mon avis, on appelle ça une subluxation en chiropratique, c'est un concept magnifique d'information qui est bloquée. Et c'est comme ça d'ailleurs que je suis venu à la chiropratique. I'll do that part in English because I came to chiropractic having no idea of chiropractic, no bad or good. And I'm in the basement of that gentleman, actually not far from Sherbrooke. And my stepdad of the time just told me, oh, you have back pain, chiropractor. These guys know about the back. Like, okay, sure. So I'm there on the table, and then I have no idea what I'm about to experience. So I'm there, and he says, resist and pull your tongue to the left and pull your tongue to the right and do this and resist again. Like, seriously, what is this? So, crack, cut. A few smart moves. Seems to know what he's doing. And I go up the stairs and about to finish the setup with his assistant. And I am envahi. I'm filled with joy and laughter, and I feel a little impolite because I'm about to explode in laughter in front of the assistant, and I feel really weird. Like, that's odd. I'm sorry. So I'm a little too much. I do my stuff. I get in my car, and I have laughed for minutes, and I drove home with a smile that felt the size of my windshield. And he had said, come back in 2 days. So 2 days later, like, so I experienced something that I'd like to share. What's this? And he said, so I integrated the concept that day. He said, well, your body just treated information that was there for a long time, and at last it was able to handle it. And that's what happened. Like, wow. And this is the day I understand that chiropractic was way more of an idea than it was not a paramedical profession.
Right.
It's way bigger.
So we have to close.
Bye.
I have an appointment in 10 minutes. 10 minutes in Roswell. 10 minutes. So I am going to have to call him and tell him that I am late, obviously, because I'm going to be late. So I do have to run. I'm so sorry that I have to run. I could spend a lifetime with you. I love you. I love you. I can't even believe you're here. I'm going to have to really look at this video and pinch myself that this actually occurred. So thank you. I mean, yes, you're with me.